to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Lori and Dio Kazdia. I've tried it. Author, certified professional, transformational success coach, marketing positioner, and strategist. So many things here. We'll talk about all of this. Welcome to the show, Lori.
Thank you so much, AJ. Oh my gosh, you did a great job with my name. It's Diulio Kazdia. It's a lot. Just call me Coach Lorianne.
Thank you. Thank you. That makes the job easy, but I will certainly, attain proficiency in this. I could do it off the live, but live can be something different. But then this is life. Such is life. But okay,
Such
so
is life.
be that as it may. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people all across the world will benefit from what we are going to talk about. We'll be talking about, success in business, even if it's a difficult time, even if you are stuck in your business life or in whatever ways. So we'll talk about all that. But first, to understand from you, Lori, you have achieved a lot of success in your own life. So many things you are: author, certified professional, transformational success coach, marketing positioner and strategist, personal development coach, international speaker, radio show host, podcast host. How did you make this happen? Let's start with your success story. How did you attain this success? What are the tips and tricks if one wants to achieve such degree of success?
Well, it doesn't happen overnight. There's no such thing as overnight successes, right? It takes lots of years and building one step at a time. And like everybody listening, you sit there and go, I want to do that. And you expect to do all of it at the same time. I don't recommend that. I recommend that what we do is we take a step at a time. So what happened to me is I used to work for another company. It didn't resonate with me anymore. They didn't appreciate what I was doing. And I decided to leave my 6-figure job and start my own company. I was in marketing for 35 years rather. But at the same time, I was always coaching and mentoring. So there was a pivot in my life. I had to make a decision. I didn't feel like I was being valued. And that was important to me, to feel valued, as I'm sure it is to all of your listeners. It's really important to value your employees and have them feel valued. People don't leave for money. People leave because they don't feel seen and heard. And that's what happened to me. So I left, I started up my business. And then I decided that in order to get my message out there, I needed to position myself. And so I wrote a book. So I wrote Women Who Dream. And that kind of positioned me. And I had an opportunity to have a radio show that came in front of me. And universe provides, God, source, universe, however you refer to your higher power, always has our backs and provides what we ask for. So what I did was I set goals. And these goals included having a radio show. It didn't just magically appear. I set the goals to have these things, and universe provided the opportunity, and I jumped on it and took it. But you have to be prepared for it. You have to have the tools in place, and you have to really do one thing at a time. We don't eat a pizza all in one bite, right? We cut it into slices, and then we take bites of the slice. Same thing with life. You have your goals. You make you big, audacious, beautiful goals, and then you back it up into small, attainable steps to allow it not to be overwhelming, not only for you, but also so you could take actions every single day. That's
Absolutely. You said it in such a nice way, and the pizza thing was very, very, people can understand it. And what happens is many a times you just choke on your success. You have to achieve that thing with a lot of hard work and in a consistent manner. Though you talk about soaring to success, so we'll understand about that now, especially in the sense of business or any sort of a success, Lori. Talking of soaring to success, and people, what does this mean? Because you have the soar to success methodology. How do we apply to business? And especially when people say, you also say it needs a lot of hard work and also a lot of degree of patience. So how do you calibrate the soaring part as well as the patience part while you are going into that journey of success in your business or in life?
Yeah, well, just let's think about this. Think about a basketball player or one of your favorite sports players, right? I use basketball a lot because I remember that a very famous basketball player was not accepted into his high school team the first go around. He was rejected. They said, no, you can't play. And he said, no, no, this doesn't work for me. And he went and he practiced and he practiced and he practiced and he came back the next year and he got on. And now he's a multi-gazillionaire. Everybody knows him. They probably wear his sneakers. So Magic Johnson, he went out there and he wasn't successful the first go around, but he didn't give up. And that's where a lot of people do. They dream these big dreams and either they don't take action towards it, or they give up, or they allow somebody to talk them out of it. So if you have a passion, first is if you have a passion, you have to believe in yourself. We're given all of our success codes right inside. So if you know that you have that passion, you want to then look at what steps do I have to take in order for me to get from here to there. And that's where coaches come into the scene. It's really good to have somebody on the sidelines helping you take those steps and keeping you accountable. If you don't have the means for a coach, have an accountability partner, someone who trusts, who will stay with you and who will make sure that you're taking steps towards your goals. It's kind of like going to the gym. I don't know if you've ever done this where you had a partner and you had to meet at the gym, and in that morning you don't really want to go, but you know your partner's there, so you have to go because you don't want to let them down. Where you're actually letting yourself down by not going, right? So having that accountability partner is really, really good. And that's yummy. And I always recommend that. As a coach, I am your accountability partner. I also will coach you into having whoever is around you to also be a secondary accountability partner. You want to share your goals and dreams with somebody else. So somebody says, hey, AJ, where are you on this? What are you doing? How are you taking those steps? So that's how we kind of take those massive dreams and start putting them into play. But it starts with having a vision. It starts with having those dreams. And then the next step is setting it down and setting goals. How many people out there haven't ever written down your goals? And it starts with the process of writing it down. It makes it realer. Have you ever said something out loud, AJ, and it sounded so different when you said it out loud, and then it's like, oh, this is real now, right? Has that happened to you?
Yes, many a times. We
Yeah.
are all human, so good things, even on bad things, you just notice it that this is right, this is not wrong. But sometimes it's very difficult to take it back.
Yeah,
And
and you in your head it sounds one way, and then when you say it out loud, you're like, "Oh my goodness, that sounds large." And then you can either take action with it or you can embrace it. And I'm all about getting uncomfortable. If we're sitting in our comfy chair and we're always comfortable, we're not learning. We're not growing as humans, right? So we got to get a little uncomfortable. But with uncomfortability comes these other words that are very overwhelming, like what's the F word? Fear, failure. But there's no such thing as failure, and that's something that we're not taught. Failure, let's take the word fail, let's give the I a little foot, and now it becomes fall. So failure is not a bad thing. We're just falling forward. We're learning from our failures, and then we're doing it again. We're trying again. When Magic Johnson failed at getting on the team, he didn't stop. He fell forward, and he started to practice until he got his tools to a point where when he went back the next time, there was no doubt he was getting on that team. So that's really putting your goals into play. I want to get on the team. And then how am I going to do it? I'm going to practice every day. And I'm going to be the best I possibly can every day I can. And then go in and try it out. That's how you build a business. That's how you follow your dreams. That's how you soar to success. And it's a great feeling.
absolutely. But what about when you feel that you are very much stuck, almost like a groundhog, and you are taking your decision based on your own shadow? And when it happens like that, how do you break out of that? From both ways. Already we have so many negative situations or difficult people around us. So that is one part. But what about when we ourselves create doubts in our mind and we are not able to, not wanting to, or not able to come out of the situation that we are in, and we want to stay in that hibernation mode forever. How does that work out? Is there a way, a step by step way that can, your mind can throw you out of that dungeon and bring it out, you out into the sunlight?
Well, yeah, and that's a great question. Thank you so much for that, AJ. So let me back up a little bit. Is everything is mindset. We already have the tools in here. We just have to trust them. We have to trust our intuition, but it's mindset. So if you're around negative people, you're going to end up looking like that. So I want you to look at the 5 people around you, the very 5 important people around you. Are they positive? Are they your raving fans? Are they supportive? Or are they the people who are like the ones who go, I don't know if you should do this. You should worry about this. And I don't think you should do this. And did you think about this? And there's a different way to think about the negatives. Yes, we have to look at, are we thinking about everything, but not have people around us that are squashing our dreams, right? So first, look at who you surround yourself with, because you're looking in a mirror. That's what you're going to become. So if you're around negative Nellies, you're going to be a negative Nelly, and you're never going to be spiraled out. You're going to stay in that hamster wheel, and you're never going to get unstuck, as you had said. But if you start surrounding yourself with raving fans and people who are supporters and cheerleaders. My bestie, she doesn't always understand what I do, but she is a raving fan. She's like, you go, Lorianne. I think this is great. I know this is good for you. I don't understand what you're doing, but I know it makes you happy, so go do it. And that is such empowerment for us to be able to have people around us to do that, because we already have our self-doubts. That squashes the self-doubt. Again, we're not given the dream if we aren't given the opportunity and the ability to execute that dream. Let me say that again. You're not given the ability for that dream if you're not given the ability for the tools for that dream. Now, does that mean that you come out and you become that great basketball player? No, it means you do have to practice and take steps, but you know you have the capacity, so you have to believe. And you need to follow that intuition within inside of you. But it also is, and in my Women Who Dream book, yes, shameless plug, in my Women Who Dream book, my chapter is about 2 choices. Being stuck is a choice. And that's okay. If you want to be stuck, it's all right. I was stuck for a while. I chose to be stuck. I was having my pity poor me party. I didn't want to get out of my hamster wheel because it was too scary on the outside of the wheel, and it was safe. I knew every day what I was going to do, and I was going to be moaning and crying and not happy and not getting anywhere different. But I was happy in that place for that moment. And then I decided, and I made the choice to get unstuck, open the door to the hamster wheel and step out of the wheel and try something different. Was it uncomfortable? Yeah. Was it scary? A little bit. I was scared, but I also knew I was trying something different. And here's the question you need to ask yourself. What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen if I'm stepping out of something that I'm not happy with anyway? Could it be prettier and happier on the other side of that rainbow? And I will tell you, trust me, stick in. It always is. Universe has our back. God, source, universe, whatever you refer to your higher power, has our back and will support us. But we need to be clear on what our dreams are. That's why we go back to, and you're always going to hear me go back to, setting goals. So if you set that goal to start a new business, or you set that goal to get this other job, or you set that goal to be better at the job that you're in, you will make it happen.
You will make it happen. And before I ask my next question, show that book once again to the audience. It was a small window earlier on this, and let it not hide your face. It should look, you should be seen with your book.
There's my book. Let me see if I can jump up a little higher so you can see the whole thing. It's Women
Wonderful.
Who Dream with my face on it. If you just Google or go to Amazon, Women Who Dream, Lorianne, and you see the spelling of my name right on the lower screen. You'll get my book. And if you go to my website, ldcstrategies.com, you could get my book from there as well, but you get a signed copy, a little different.
Wonderful. So now that book part is taken care of. Now let's come and understand success from you, Lori. And you talk about success, soaring to success, and everybody wants to achieve that success. You have achieved success. In terms of defining success when we are in whatever we are doing, who defines this success for us? Is it we or is it people around us? Because sometimes, different culture, it can become quite different and
Yeah.
difficult. So how does that happen? How did you define? You got trained from, and certified from the best. How did you decide that? You have achieved so much of radio host, podcast host, all those things, and a certified professional, transformational coach, market. So you decided for yourself, but not everybody will be so independent minded or are in a position to do that. That is where I want to understand from your perspective, what is this success thing all about? How do you define your own success? How do you then go on to that path?
So, oh my gosh, AJ, that's such a great question. You define your own success. We define it for ourselves. It's not what everybody else thinks. It's what you think. And here's something that taught me that. There was a phrase. It used to be, I don't care what anybody thinks. It sounds very defensive. So I was like, oh, that's icky. That's not me. But somebody said this to me, it's none of my business what anybody else thinks. That was so freeing because it wasn't defensive and it was completely in my control. Our lives are, in fact, completely in our control because we need to take the action. But with that, we also need to take 100% responsibility. So when I made bad decisions, I learned from them. We learn from our mistakes, right? And I try not to repeat my mistakes. So if we learn to not repeat our mistakes, then we are learning, and that's a good thing. If we continue to repeat our mistakes, we're going to be in Groundhog Day again, going, oh my gosh, why is that happening? Why is that happening? Universe, God source, your higher power will deliver that message over and over until you learn it. So learn it right away. I took the hard road the first time and I didn't listen to the whispers. I didn't listen to the universe's nudges. I didn't see the signs. I didn't pay attention to any of that because I wanted it my way. And I was definitely putting a round peg in a square hole. And I was like, no, I want it this way. No, I want it this way. And that was not a good way to do it. So when I started listening and paying attention to what was being delivered to me and started following my intuition and trusting my instincts, that's where I started seeing my success and taking those steps. Now, did I have a couple of days where I took a couple of steps backwards? Absolutely. But did I stay in the game? Absolutely, because I believe in myself. And so we take steps forward. That's where a coach comes into play. And it's really helpful because we're there and we are your cheerleaders. I work with very, very successful CEOs and CVOs of very large corporations who nobody knows that they have a personal coach, but they also don't want to show their weakness. They think there's a weakness there when they don't know. That's never a weakness. What a weakness is not asking for help. So I say, ask, ask, ask. And these people asked for my help. And when they have issues, they come and talk to me and we bounce things off of me. And they know it's a safe environment. So that's what a coach does. Make sure, though, that your coach has a coach. Even my coach, who's Jack Canfield, the success coach, the #1 American success coach, he is luckily fortunate for me, my coach, he has a coach as well. And I love that. So if you have a coach who has a coach, that means they are coachable and they're going to be good for you. Someone who doesn't have a coach doesn't really see the value in it. So if they're saying to you they're valuable for you, wouldn't they have one? So it makes sense, right? So that's how you get yourself out of that hamster wheel, as I call it, or out of a Groundhog's Day event, feeling like you're just stuck there. So you need to look for the signs. They are everywhere. Universe, God source, higher power always leaves those little nudges and whispers and says, hey, here's an example of a whisper and a nudge. Have you ever woken up and thought of somebody that you haven't thought of in a long time and went, I got to call that person? And then you call them and they're like, oh, I was just thinking of you. That ever happened to you?
Many times.
Yes. So when you call, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I connected. You'll get an inspired message. Either they needed your help, you found out they're doing something now that you didn't realize they were doing that could help you, or during that conversation, something happens and you get a message of, oh my gosh, I should go do blah, blah. That's how I got my radio show. I was speaking to a bestie who I hadn't spoken to in a while. And she was like, you really need to do a radio show. And I'm like, I'm going to call my friend John. John owns a radio station. And we started having a conversation. And next thing I know, I have my radio show. So now, did I have creds? Did I have some footage to show him I could handle a radio show? Absolutely. So you have to have some of those things in place, but don't worry about it. Universe will deliver what you need and will show you what you need along the way. So just say yes. And I play the yes game. Just say yes to every opportunity that comes to you. Work it out, figure it out.
Work it out, figure it out.
Yeah.
It is all about women who dream. So tell us about your book, Who Dream, because you showed that book, but just to help us understand what is this book about, what can people expect from this book when they read?
Yeah. So in Women Who Dream, there's 30 authors. I'm one of them. And I talk about two choices. It's either start or go, or don't start. It's stop or go, right? It's unstuck or stuck, right? So we always have those choices. What we also do when we're making a decision is we then put all these other things around it. So we encase it like we're putting breaded fish into play. You know, we put all this breaded emotion around the actual issue. But it's either a yes or a no. There's never more than two choices. It's either we're going to do it or we're not going to do it. It's not a but. It's not an if or a then. It's a yes or a no. So that's what my chapter is about. And this book is really inspiring. It's about 30 women who dreamt, who then pursued their dreams and achieved it in different ways, in different businesses, in different environments. Some are emotional, some are in the health industry. So it's really inspiring. This book is for everyone, for women and men, and it really is inspiring. And you'll catch one of them who will really, and they're all coaches, who will really inspire you to do what you're doing, inspire you to take that next inspired action. And my masterclass is Taking Action with Jet Propulsion. And that's what I do. I take your dreams. We understand what your dreams are. Then we set up a strategy and a plan, and then we take action. Those are the three prongs to our success in helping people take action with Jet Propulsion, because we need to start with awareness. And once we're aware of what we want, the rest will fall into place. Then we set a strategy. It's kind of like eating the pizza. Once we're aware we can't fit the whole pizza in our mouth, we have to set up a strategy and a plan. And then we have to take a bite at a time to execute, take action, so we can get to that whole pizza being done. If that makes sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it will make more sense for people to learn directly from you. There is much to learn from you, from your mastermind, from your podcast, and from you as a coach. So how do people connect with you? How do they know more about your podcast? How do they know more about your mastermind?
So my radio show / podcast, it's the same name as Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. It first goes live on radio, and then we podcast it after that. It's on iHeartRadio, so you can get it right there in India. So please feel free to look us up. And please follow and share. We really appreciate that. You can also email me at healthylifestyle with LA at gmail.com. That's healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. You can visit me if you want to do some coaching, if you want to jump into the masterclass, which is a 6-month class. We meet once a month for 90 minutes, and you get a 1-hour laser coaching directly with me to talk about your business or your dream or whatever it is you want to talk about. And we come up with a strategy and a plan during that 1 hour. And it's a 6-month class. You could do that by going to www.ldcstrategies.com. I'm sure that AJ will drop that with this as well. But again, ldcstrategies.com, or you can call me at 516-983-3591, and that's international code +1, and it's 516-983-3591. And you can also visit me, which will take you to LDC Strategies at coachlorianne.com.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.